Hey, Stacy.
Hey, Michael.
Are we here? Are we doing this?
We're here. We are doing this. 7-2. Yay!
72. I didn't think I was going to make this one. I really thought, boy,
Right?
if anybody has ever driven in Philly, the Schuylkill, it's a big 6 to 8 lane highway that goes in and out of Philadelphia. It's the main vein, Jane. And so sometimes like on a Sunday morning, I can get from my house to the Rocky Steps in 30 minutes. Like,
Oh, that's not bad.
it's not bad at all. On a Tuesday morning, it can be an hour and 20 minutes. It's just that the road I take from my house, Route 422, to get there, get a little jammed up. Anyways, do you have any clue what 72 means in the Rocky universe?
Well, we have a ton of followers born in 72. I know that.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. So Sly was an usher at the Baronet movie theater in New York City in 72.
Cool.
And this is where he would audio record movies that he was supposed to be paying attention to the people so they don't fall over, because he was an usher, and he would audio record them, and then he would take them home and he would rewrite the movies like Easy Rider and so on, because he desperately wanted to go to film school, but he didn't have the money for it. So he would sit on that bed in that small apartment that he shared with Butkus and Frank, and he would rewrite Easy Rider or whatever movie was playing. And he self-taught on how to write a movie. And you have people, men and women, who go to school, film school, for decades that never reach the creative heights or monetary heights that Sly has reached. And that's just a big deal. So anyways, that's episode 72. That's my little connection. And 9. Those numbers add up to 9. So that's good. We should talk about an artist who creates miniatures for a living. This is what the guy does. He's out of the UK. And Josh, there he is, Josh Backhouse. I always want to put an L in there.
Right.
I'm going to ask him if he'll be comfortable by changing his last name.
Yeah. Sure.
I'll see if he's aware of
Up
that.
for that. Yeah.
I mean, he should be. It's just a name. It's just something you're born with. It makes my life easier. Put an L in there.
Right.
Josh Backhouse is an amazing miniature maker, and he did a diorama, a miniature of Mighty Mick's gym. Imagine Rick Moranis showed up in Kensington, and he had the giant ray gun, and he shrunk down Mighty Mick's gym from 1976. It might look like something like this that Sly could carry in his arms.
Yes. Look at
that.
I was so happy for him. Look at that.
Awesome. I was beyond thrilled. It's a beautiful job. It's amazing. Now, some of you will say, well, look at the bottom of the gym. It's not that bright red. Correct. Later in the Rocky movies, it got a little bit of a brighter red paint job on it. But this is the 76 version of Mighty Mick's gym. Because if you notice, looking at this picture, to the right-hand side, you can see the scribble that says professional boxing. It's that white banner. Okay. But in like Rocky 5 and later movies, it's much clearer. And when you go back and watch the original Rocky, there's like faded paint and there's dirt on it. It's difficult to read unless you're up close. And Josh was able to capture this remarkably. Even the top of the building has vents and like venting systems, air conditioning venting systems or whatever. He went all out. And of course, there is a piece of the wood that I took from the actual red board. It's like a plaque numbering it. And he also sent one to me, which was really cool. So it's like, there you go. You see, it's just
that's quite it's like a little shrine. I love it. That looks great.
This whole room is a little shrine.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is a little shrine to Mighty Mick's gym. And so I have right now, it's just resting on a footstool. But I have a little display thing coming that I'm going to elevate it up. It'll be a little closer around Mickey's shins on the poster there.
Oh, neat.
So it'll be elevated, and then I'm going to put little lights around it and like spotlights shining up at it, but miniature tiny lights. So it'll look really cool.
nice. I wanted
Yeah,
to show also Sly's comments for Josh.
there you go.
Mighty Mix Jim, Rocky Second Home. This is a wonderful piece of art created by Josh at Josh Back 5. Did an amazing job. Thank you for this nostalgic piece of memorabilia. Keep punching. I just talk about a shout out from the big guy.
It doesn't get any more, it doesn't get any
Yeah.
better than that. I mean, that
Yeah.
really is something quite special. And this whole thing kind of came together because of our previous guest, Dan the Man.
Yeah.
Dan was he had reached out to me, and we were talking about it, and one thing led to another, and I sent some information to Sly, and he said, "Oh, I would love
Yeah.
one." There
Yeah.
you go, and he got
Yep.
it. He got it. So, Josh,
Mm.
job well done. Dan, thank you very much.
Mhm.
And I wish you all the best on both of your careers. You guys are
Yeah.
quite amazing and inspiring.
Yeah.
Stacy, do we have any guests today?
We do. We do. This is so exciting for us.
Give us a tease. Just give us a quick tease. Throw us something that would give us like you're in a Survivor. Okay.
What else?
That's
What else?
interesting. Do we
What
have any?
about this?
Okay, now let's look at this. This is something extraordinary. This is an album I used to play all the time as a kid. Now, when I was younger, I didn't have the greatest sound system. And before I did get my uncle's old used beat up turntables, I would listen to the radio all the time. Look at that, right? Look
Yeah.
at that. Unbelievable. Survivor. I tell you. And what I used to do, I would wait for the countdown to come on the radio in the summer. I believe it was 82. And I would just listen. Couldn't wait for Eye of the Tiger. And it was like #1 every week. It was amazing.
Forever, right?
Rocky 3's in the movie theaters. There's this incredible group named Survivor. I wonder if I'd ever get a chance to meet a member or at least maybe interview them on a podcast. Now, you would think that's odd for 1982. I dreamt up this concept of podcasting, which I get no royalties for. But listen, enough about me. Today, we have one of the co-founders, co-creators of Survivor and a co-writer of Eye of the Tiger, Mr.
Yes.
Frankie Sullivan. Would you please bring him in?
Yes.
Oh, hello. There you. Oh, I see myself. Which I don't know if I'm that happy. I've never been a guy that goes, "Oh, it's me." I see myself. But that's okay.
You look good.
I
like to mirror. How do you do that? So that's good enough.
Frankie, this is such a pleasure to have you here because
Thank you guys.
You and your group were so inspirational. I think you are tent poles of the 80s. I mean, of all time, yes, but the 80s, my God, one of the greatest decades ever. And you were a major phenomenon in that group that pushed people. What you did with Eye of the Tiger, we're going to get into that in a little bit, but I want you to understand something. As a 14, 15-year-old kid listening to Eye of the Tiger on the radio and getting a chance to let you know what Eye of the Tiger meant to me, and Stacy's going to tell you, and some of our listeners, that that it really blew us away, this song. Because as we all know, Sly thought maybe, but not really, Another One Bites the Dust. And your co-creator, Jimmy Peterick, he was like, geez, that's going to be a tough song to beat. Well, not only did you beat it, but you buried it.
Sly. Well, yeah. I still have the I kept all the memorabilia, so I still have the first 10 minutes that Sly sent me, and then I called him up because he sent me the first 10 minutes of the film, so I just took for granted, well, they don't want this out there, it's not done. So I rang him back. I said, I'm not going to make bootleg copies in the garage. And so he sent me the whole film the next day. And I watched it with Mark, the drummer, and I kind of Sly's vibe, and he loves Queen. He's a big Queen fan. Yeah. When I watched it, I totally got it and I'm a huge Brian May fan. He's a great guy. How you ever going to beat Freddie Mercury? That's one of the greatest bands in the world. But that song and that spot was exactly like the man said. It was a little bit logy, a little slow. It was a little plotting for what Sly wanted to do with that section of it, which he ended up changing, I guess, more to our benefit. But when I watched it the first time, I immediately went, that could be better. Not meaning better than Queen, because that's impossible. And I'm a huge fan.
Sure.
Guitar player, Brian May, killer guitar player. But in the film, I said, it's kind of plotting.
Yeah.
You know, the man didn't really feel right about it. I don't think he knew how to put it into words, but I felt it was kind of plodding, slow moving.
Right.
And he wanted
Okay.
something more than that. Because I remember telling me, I got to have a pulse. It's
Yeah,
all he
something
told me.
driving
Pulse.
sounding. Yeah.
He said, no, a pulse. He was like,
Mm.
you told me. He
Pulse.
didn't have the note. He didn't have C note,
Right.
but he might have been hitting the note going, I just have to have a pulse. That's it.
Gotta have a pulse.
Yeah.
Gotta have a pulse.
Yeah. That's all he did.
So
Well-
so this is interesting to me because you get to a point. I wrote down some notes, things that I knew, but I don't want to forget.
I'll remind you.
So the good.
You know, I don't do many interviews in case you haven't noticed that. I think
No,
this is the first
I-
podcast I've done in 4 years.
You know,
Wow.
and that's the thing. I noticed that because you're a wealth of knowledge and information.
I am.
And I mean, obviously we're a Rocky centric show, but just musically in
Yeah.
general, I don't know much about music. As you will see, I have a question or two for you. But what I don't understand is why not do more? You could. I think you
Well,
would be.
I'm just
the love.
starting to. But go ahead.
Ah.
Finish, though. What you're going to say.
Okay.
Why, go ahead. More. Tell
So-
me why.
So here's the thing. I made some notes. So you start writing, rising up, back on the street, did my time, took my chances.
I did.
But you needed more of the movie, which is when you got Slide to give you more. And you did that by promising him you weren't going to record it, right? You had just said that. I wanted to make sure that was right.
No, that's not right.
All right.
Oh.
But that's okay. That's why I should do more podcasts.
Exactly.
To begin with, and you have to give Sly. I always call him the boss. You can call him the man. You know, Nick's a
Yeah.
friend of mine. Nick, he's a really good friend of mine. Nick, you know Nick is he, and we
Yeah.
talk a lot. He never really gave us much input. He just wanted to
Wow.
pulse. So lyrically, I don't think he never gave us one lyrical input. Nothing.
Amazing.
Mhm.
On anyway, I don't think he heard anything until we sent him the tapes.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Wow.
with another song on it that I
Okay.
think we felt may have been a better song, which goes to show you that how much you think I know, I may not know, which is the beautiful thing about being a human being. But
I learn that every day.
Sly was really good about, and maybe this says something about him because he's so prolific and so creative.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's nonstop. He just give me a pulse. That's it. Until he got the tape. That's
Yeah.
all.
Now the title, I read that it came from Apollo's line, "Eye of the Tiger." Is that part true?
No.
No.
No. See, and I also, you guys will dig this. So I teased him. I said, I'm going to put this up on eBay one day. The original script, handwriting, it changes to 10 minutes, to the VHS. I kid around with it, but no, that wasn't true. No, we had everything done in about the first 10 minutes.
Wow.
That's true.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Musically.
Okay.
Because we both like the key of C, and C works really good for. It's hard to sing in, but it's C. Everything. If you
Yeah.
if you know music, everything's middle C,
Mhm.
and also that doom doom sounds really good. C, low C, and mid C. You hit both at once,
Yeah.
and he didn't. We just started playing in C, and we knew we wanted a pulse. On the way over
Right.
to write, I was thinking about. I grew up on the streets, man. Yeah, you got to understand. And, I think at the time, I may have still been, but while I was going to high school, I was working 2 jobs, including a graveyard shift because I had to pay the rent.
Yeah.
I lived on my own for my senior year, and then I got out. I graduated early, and I also had to pay like certain bills. And, I was kind of driving home, and I was thinking, where are we going to go with this song? I can think about it. You obviously say to yourself, well, you don't know shit, so this isn't some great opportunity. You say, wow, this is amazing, and that's it. The beauty of youth is not being intimidated by that, because look what it did.
Yeah.
I got like these. That's my Grammy here.
Oh, beautiful.
That's
And
amazing.
this they only give 1 per band, and I have it.
Isn't that
this is the-
something?
This is the People's Choice Award,
Oh.
copper inlaid.
Beautiful.
That's absolutely beautiful.
They only give 1 per band, and the guys gave it to me. So
oh,
I know.
Are there-
I bowed to him. I said, "You guys are just the best." He said, "You keep it." It was great.
Are you at a point, or I should say, do you ever get to a point? I know I do. I get to a point sometimes where I lose confidence in myself, and I need to come to my room where whatever it is I've accomplished, I need to sit and think, oh, you did that. And you know what? You didn't think you could do it then, but you ended up doing it. Maybe you could do this too. When you look at awards or even a photo with an old friend that you experienced something with, does that trigger more positivity for you to say, no, I can do this?
I think we all have, I don't know if they're crises of confidence. I think it's more being human.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we kind of go, can I? However, inside of that, can I, that's like a nut. You can open up a whole different dimension, a whole different world creatively.
Right.
But, we all question, is this good enough? Can I do better? Have I done my best? Can I live up to this challenge? No offense.
Yep. No, but this is what we're talking about. Yes.
And I think that part of your edge is that you always are striving to be at your best and do your best. I think it's hard to do, to keep the cadence going. We're talking about Sly, to keep that type of cadence going.
Right.
There aren't many other people you can name that do it. So I think people that good are questioning like a lot of things. I mean, I don't really know because I'm not in their heads, but I think that that's a normal human trait that we question. And I think that once we get past that, am I losing my confidence? We say, and then it just goes. You just got to let go. The energy will take you there if you let it.
I like that. And I also
you got to let it happen. Too many of us get really stubborn. And I did this, and I never hung my hat on. If you saw around my office, you would die. This is Rocky City, and there's a Rocky hat hanging there. It's a Frank Stallone guitar hat hanging there.
Well, speaking of Frank Stallone,
that's my friend, man. He's my brother.
Frank is something else. I've had many great conversations with Frank.
Have you?
I have, and
he likes to talk.
Here's a fun Frank Stallone story that's hysterical. So during the filming of Rocky Balboa, I was on set at the Victor Cafe for 4 days maybe, and there's this red leather couch in the upstairs. There's kind of like a bar area with
how red.
It's
like red.
It's like
Sammy Hagar red. It's
red. Very much
red.
so.
Yeah.
And Frank, so I was talking with Frank, and he was telling me little tidbits about his musical career. He'd switch on to Rocky and then back, and then he would just start snoring. He was sprawled on the, now we're talking across the seat from me is Spider Rico. Yeah. Pedro Lavelle, the first fighter, Rocky.
Pedro.
He's ready to go down to the kitchen to start filming where he's washing the dishes, and there's PAs running around. There's assistant directors all over the place. And now somebody comes up and they wake Frank up and they go, Frank, your brother says he can hear you snoring. You gotta stop. And Frank was snoring loud. He goes, oh, okay.
Oh, okay,
and then
man.
He walked in.
No problem.
It was the best thing. It was the funniest thing. But again, here I am, like I'm wide-eyed, as you could imagine. First time on a Hollywood movie set, right? It's Rocky Balboa. I'm looking around and
energy. I can sense that.
Boom. I know. I know.
Okay, keep going. I like it.
Sometimes my wife needs a live wire to wrap it around me to keep me from climbing the walls when I get home.
That's a good thing, though.
It is if it's channeled.
Channel it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't, but you try. Well, you just try harder. So go back. He was snoring because he snores like 5 men snoring.
He
like a buzz
does.
saw.
I'm telling you, the roof was lifting up
so
and coming
loud.
down. I know. It's like something out of a Stooge movie. But but I just thought it was funny. I'm in awe. And here he is. Frank was so chilled and so relaxed.
He's so chill all the time.
I know. He's a trip.
He's like, okay, I'm up. Right?
Okay.
So boom, he gets up. You're like, is that it?
Yeah, he just shook it off, and he was like, "Oh, okay. What were we talking about?" Like, oh, okay. Yeah. So you haven't heard from Sly. So he gets the song, but you haven't heard from him for a little bit, and you talk to Frank. And Frank says, "Oh, he loves it. I was up the house last night, and he was headbanging his head to it. He loved it." Now you go to see him to Hollywood to put it in the movie, but Jimmy gets sick. He gets pneumonia, right?
Yeah, Jim's stuck in a hospital for 2 weeks with pneumonia.
And what are you, 25 at this point?
24.
What's
24.
going through your mind? You got to sell it, or you got to help them edit it into the movie? How does that work?
Well, by then Sly was not pretty much convinced. He had, I think, went back and reshot a few. He did the most brilliant montage over that song.
Oh,
Yeah.
So at 24, I don't think I was intimidated because, when you're working around somebody like Sly, it's easy. You just got to be yourself.
yeah, that's true.
He put me to the test once and I said, oh, okay, fine. I'll sit in that fucking chair. That's fine. But
Yeah.
he did. But the first day he was very cool and calm, and he didn't have that aura about him. He was being super creative. He wanted to get the film done because don't forget, he had it done for a long time. He wanted that music.
Mm.
Okay.
So I understood that much. Second off, I was kind of, in a good way, glad I was there alone because less is more.
Okay.
And the last thing we needed was more ideas. That song was done. And
Yeah.
the man likes to move on. And he had
Yes.
already, this is where it's going. I put it in. It was just, I had to tweak a few things and then go back in the studio and do some musical edits and just give him the tracks and stuff. I have to tell you, he was one of the easiest, and I've worked with some hard fuckers.
Really?
He was one of the easiest people. Not forget super. This is the biggest box office star in history.
Yeah.
He was one of the easiest people that I've ever worked with in my career.
Mhm.
That says a lot
Amazing.
because it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have this perception that they're nice and that, they're really not. I always say, there's two kinds of acting. The one they do on screen and the one they do off screen. And maybe I prefer the one on screen sometimes as opposed to off. But Sly was really, really easy to work with. He was super cool, super patient. Whatever you got to do it. There was, and when he's behind you, nobody taps on your shoulder.
Yeah,
they know
yeah.
better.
Right.
Because it's the boss, the man, so when he's behind you, just do what you need to do. Nobody's going, we need this, we need,
Yeah.
Once he says, that's it, you're on your own. So
You're doing you. Yeah. Right.
Oh, I loved it. I loved being left on my own. I loved it. And when I looked back on it, and I didn't really like Jim being that sick. He had pneumonia pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't like him missing the opportunity, but I did like that I ended up being there alone.
I got
because too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Screw everything up. So you got a super creative guy that wants to get this film done. It's been done except for this music, and it's our music. And then just me, and he's like, I want this. He started coming up with like the part where he's trying to speed it up, where it's just music. I'd have to speed it up like I did like maybe 4 or 6 bars. I'd move things to go along with the.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I would just go in and do it and give it to him. He'd say, cool, next.
So you did one thing that I think might have been a stroke of genius. And I read this from you. It was an interview you gave quite a long time ago, maybe the better part of 25 years ago.
I don't do interviews. It's crazy. In fact, that's 25 years. See, but go ahead.
Now, here's what I wanted. No, you were on video. You were on video and you were talking about it. And you had said that Sly said he goes, how far can we push it? And you did something that knocked him out. You push the fader by 1 decibel. What does that mean? And what did that do for the song?
Yeah, okay. So, this whole record, artists can be the most messed. Just, everybody will say, well, in the film, they say, well, it's the demo. Well, what is a demo? We didn't have enough time. We cut what we cut. And he said, I'm using this because he loved it.
Right.
Well, when it has a lot, the demo has a little bit more bass and kick drum because I knew he wanted it. I
like
had
a set of balls on it.
Oh,
right?
yeah, big balls. I mean,
Yeah,
I was surprised he liked it that loud.
Wow.
But when you get in an environment where you have these the technical people, especially in the movie business, Jesus, they're uptight. They would be saying, oh, it's going to distort in the theaters. And, I'd overhear him. I didn't talk much. And I would listen. He'd say, turn it up louder. Then when we get in the theater, he finally got fed up one day and he goes, hey, kid, sit down. And I'm like, the guy sitting in the chair has won like 20 Oscars. You know, and I don't know who it was, Donnie Zimmer, someone I love. And he's like,
Yeah.
what's the difference? I said, well, it's volume. It's a matter of everything's volume, whether it's a bottle of water. I said, it's not. I come from a different world. They had these. So if you go on the soundstage, they have a huge, I mean, the size of like an outdoor theater, huge wall for the film. And then to the side are VU meters the size of another wall. So VU meters are, you know what VU meters, right? The
Yeah.
meters of,
Yeah,
okay, so
sure.
there's two because they're only it's in stereo, left and right. And they kept watching the meters. It was driving me crazy, even at 24. I said, I could never work with them. And it would get up near the red and they would say, well, you know, and I hear about the distortion. And then, you know, Sly's like, yeah, he said, fine. I said, sit down there. So I just said, those meters, you know, these guys cover them up if you want to hear it right, because they're going to, I pegged them. Yeah. So maybe I moved up. If it were, a dB is a lot, by the way. You sit at consoles, you turn up my mic a dB, it's going to be a lot louder. Well, that kick and bass drum, it might have been more. When I kicked it up, I like to peg. I like to peg the red sometimes. You know, there's guys that like to stick in it. I like to bang off it. If I hear the if I can hear it go hit the red once in a while, you can really hear that low ends. That's what tape compression. That's why I still record a 2-inch tape. That's the beauty of it. You don't get that out of digital. Once I cranked it up, you know, I'm a young kid. I'm sitting around all these, you know, I've looked these guys up. This guy's won the Oscars for this and this guy's that. And I said, well, fuck it. I'm just going to do it because it's been 2 days. And Sly's like, what's wrong with this? Because then he must have gone home and listened again and said, no.
Wow.
So I sat down and did what I said. Fuck it. Nobody's in this room. This is what I would do.
Right.
Yep.
And he said, print it. And they didn't like it, but too bad. You know, if you don't
but
like something, the world
says the world loved it.
Yourself. Oh, but
so you and Sly knew better than the experts.
People, they may have had a valid point. Maybe in the theaters it would have distorted. I don't really know, but I know that at that safe zone, when you're never going to get that, especially bass and kick. If you're playing it safe, you're never going to get that. It won't come out. And that was a beautiful thing because I had the compression from the song we cut. I had a master reel there, and I got to add more. See what I'm saying? So I had to mix. As I did the mix, I mixed stuff on me. I just always loved to mix.
Yeah,
I had the mix, so I got to kind of just I didn't get to remix it, but I got to give it a little bit more compression, and I heard it. I said, that's where I leave it. And he said, print it. And I know the guys have got real quiet because they're not about to challenge him anymore. He's kind of fed up at this point. And it kicked ass. It did. It worked. It worked.
It did.
I was sitting there and I go, that's what I would do with the fucker. So even at that young age, I was working with other artists by the time I was 27.
Right.
So I kind of knew what I was doing. Well, with that song, I knew what I was doing, and I knew what the champ wanted. I call him the champ, the boss. I knew what the man wanted. I knew you got to feel it. If you don't feel it, and you can, you got to. I mean, literally, not in your gut. It's not going to work.
Yeah, no. Agreed.
Things started, you know, the tabletop would be stuff started.
Right.
There was. I remember there was a couple bottles of water, glasses of water. So I said, "No, I'm there," and then I did. Just a tad more for me. And he said, print it.
Whose decision is it to put the tiger in the roar?
Oh, that was Sly.
Okay.
Yeah, he did that.
I always wonder, like a little minutia thing like
Otherwise, I would make fun of it, but you can't.
Yeah.
No, it was his idea, and not that it's a bad idea.
No, it's great. It's great.
I wouldn't have done it, but I'm not going to argue with it.
I think because it's a movie, I think if it was just a song, you don't use it. But because it's a movie, the tiger, and then you're going to hear the tiger in your head when Rocky's killing Clubber Lang in the ring and he's coming back and all these things. And it's just
I agree. That's where you see the youth in me didn't really know. But then when I watched it through twice at the end, and that he wanted more balls. That thing is ballsy. It's loud. I said, ooh. Well,
that's my whole point.
Up on it. When I watched the film back, I said, now I get it, because you emotionally get pulled into this whole thing going on between Clubber Lang and,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Mr. T played a
It was great.
rotten badass
Oh,
guy
yeah.
in there that just
Yeah.
wanted to kill him. So that roar
was
made you,
amazing.
oops. It's kind of, ooh, he's gonna get him.
But
I like
Frankie,
it.
this is the thing that I just find so amazing. There are very few individuals that or movies or songs that you can point to that says that raises the bar. Maybe in special effects, Star Wars did that. Jaws
Okay.
with less is
Yeah,
more.
I love that. Yeah, I like both those. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, the Beatles, Elvis,
The
the
Beatles.
Stones.
Elvis.
Okay, so
The
you're
Stones, my favorite band.
of course, they're my brother's favorite band. My brother Jason is a huge Stones fan, loves them, quotes them all the time, singing the
'em.
lyrics. It's amazing.
Love them.
But I put Survivor there because of Eye of the Tiger and what that song did. That took inspiration, which was here for decades, and it now put it up here. So other artists, if they want to inspire people, like it inspired me and maybe a billion other people on the planet, they're going to have to take a page out of Survivor's book and say, how did they get here? What was their inspiration? Was it youth? Was it arrogance? And I don't mean arrogance in a bad way,
No,
but
I understand.
that you
think
could do it.
so? You
Yeah,
think
right.
I did that? I always wonder people would say things. I know.
Oh
really
my
feel-
God,
You think so? Because
Stace,
that's something I would
I am in the-
never.
I am
I
in the
can't
community.
take that on in my head because
Let
that's
me take
part
that
of what
on.
happened. That's magic. Okay.
Yes.
I don't fuck with the magic. If
I
that's
agree
what
with
it did
you.
to people, fine. But I can't say, oh, look what I did to people. I'm not a blowhard, which is why I don't do a lot of interviews.
I guarantee if you ever had an opportunity to do a Q&A or something like that, you would get the vibe from fans out there. And it just changed their lives. Now, I've heard you mention from time to time, people will tell you what Eye of the Tiger has meant to
All
you.
the time.
And that
All the time.
saves lives, gets them through cancer, got them through a divorce, got them through the loss of a pet, loss of a job. My God, Eye of the Tiger, are you kidding me? It punches me in my mouth every time I feel insecure. I crank. It's either Bill Conti's Go the Distance or Eye of the Tiger.
Right.
So put that in your cap, pal.
That's awful. Well, thank you. That's nice to say. I used to be pen pals with like Mary Lou Renner, and I used to get fan mail from boxers. And I said, hey, it was a good ticket to go see a Sugar Ray Leonard fight and sit at the ringside. I'll take that any day of the week.
Sure.
And now I still get them. I'm getting them again. There's a new guy that Freddie Roach trains. He's 27-0. He sends me a direct message. Dude, Freddie said, anytime you want to come down, I'm coming down. Any fight you want, pick one, all of them. That's what I always say. Tiger is the best calling card.
Yeah.
But I can never that magical thing, what it does for people. I love that, but I can't take it on like egotistically and say, "Ooh, look what I've done." Because I'm telling you, my business we're filled up with a bunch of asses that do that.
Yeah.
I can't take that on because I don't wear it well. I don't like the blowhards. Right. Oh, I'm a genius. No, you're not. Tom Petty's a genius. That puts a period on it. Like if I get into a little, because friends and I, my few friends and I, we go back and forth, and we get the geniuses. I say Freddie Mercury, period. They stop. Songwriting, I'll say, okay, well, we know Lennon McCartney. Tom Petty, they stop. So I can't. I don't like to step inside it. And I know Tom didn't either. Tom Petty didn't like that either. Oh yeah, I know he didn't like that either. I think that maybe it might distract from something I may do or the way I think, but I'm sure glad it did what it did and still does. I have to tell you, so I'm a huge Jeremy Renner fan.
Oh, I love him.
No, I love him for years. And he's a musician. I
didn't know that.
His studio, he's a musical guy. So just the other day, and he's got like 50 million followers on Instagram. I'm going to Jeremy Renner. I said, dude, you don't know me, but it's not just a song. Because I know he likes 80s stuff. So he's probably familiar with some of it. I said, I know you don't really know me. No, I don't want you to follow me and all that kind of bullshit. It's not just a song. Play Tiger. I haven't heard back, but I just wanted to, I don't know why I put two and two together. I said, play it, because I know there's been instances that people have told me fighting cancer or boxers, training for big boxes.
Athletics,
big guys.
Mhm.
champs training for fights that told me
Yeah.
I train. So I just said, I think I'm going to, because I love him so much. I've never met him, but I love his work. And he's such a he's a terrific human being. I said, it's not just a song after all. Give it a listen. That's all.
Give it a
I don't know
listen.
if he has. That was yesterday, but I wish he would because he might be able to draw from that. I don't really know.
Yeah. Now, here's the first of all, I could vomit gratuitously all over you on Eye of the Tiger and how it's inspired me and motivated me. But I think you get the point.
Me
Stacey,
too.
seriously, but Stacey, before I want to, there's a couple of other songs that I really just want to talk about.
How about you lose your passion for glory? I
I
think
have-
about that. Wait a minute. I
Go
thought
ahead,
about
go ahead.
that throughout my career. Don't lose your passion for glory. I'm telling you, that's this whole fame shit. People's heads in this business go through the sky immediately, and that's called losing your passion for glory right there, man. You start losing a little bit of that edge.
Yep.
And you're not going to make Rambo 3,
Right.
Rambo 2.
Yeah.
You start losing that edge, you're done.
Exactly. You
And
stop doing your own.
in my
No, you're right though. And I think a lot of us can relate to that, even outside of music and outside, even in the quote traditional jobs, as an office worker, as a police officer, as a doctor, a nurse, a sanitation engineer. If you maybe, I know being a sanitation engineer is not the most glorious job in the world, but maybe you want to work your way up so you can make it better for the men and women that are doing it out there, right?
Mhm.
And so you keep pushing yourself, and that's what that is. Don't rest on your laurels. Don't sit back with your back against the wall. Keep up that passion. Keep moving forward, as Rocky says, because I think that is having a purpose. Being human and to have a purpose is it's one of the things that keeps me going tremendously. Stacey, I
like where it says don't lose your dreams, and
Yeah.
then you must fight just to keep them alive. That's not about Rocky. That's not about this. It's just
right.
That's life.
That's
yeah.
me. That's
Mhm.
that's it. That's how when we were writing the lyrics, that was a line. I said, "Hey, man," because people do it.
Had
And
the
then,
had the guts, got the glory, went the distance. No, I'm not going to stop.
Not going to stop.
It's the man and his will to survive.
Yeah.
That's
all we are at the end of the day. We're just one man, and we have our will, and hopefully it's a will to survive. Because the other kind of will isn't going to do us any good.
That's right. Now, Stacey, what are you thinking so far? You got it.
These progressive glasses, they have to come up with some.
I know.
They have to come up. Do you wear progressive, Stacey? Like the bottom, I can see it.
I don't. Not yet.
Here you're blurry. I'm like, but are these? These
coming.
aren't reflecting, are they? They're not. Are they reflecting?
No, you got the anti-glare on there.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, I use sunglasses.
Well, I have the distance, middle, and here. This used to be where I could see it. Now I got to go like that. So, but I could see it.
It sucks when presbyopia sets in because I'm 54 and I know I got it. And Stacey, how's your vision? You're a little.
Stacey's young. She just needs glasses. Oh, and I like some glasses. Now that I think about it, Stace, those look hot. Those are nice glasses.
I know. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, they look good.
She's only 24.
I like a girl with glasses. I do.
No, glasses work. Stacey, your thoughts so far on everything Frankie's saying?
I love this. Frankie, I can't thank you enough for joining us. You said you don't do interviews, so I feel very blessed that you're here. And I think what I love as I'm listening, your philosophy and just the detail of how you felt as a human in the middle of such a big thing, and you were uncompromising to your gut, and you were like, I don't care, you like, this is how I would do it. And that's what successful people are. You know what I mean? They don't get talked out of what feels right to them. And that's
easy to get talked out of. If they get you thinking about it, you're talked out of it.
Right. And I love that you stuck to it, and you're like, hey, this is how I'd record it. This is how I do it. And look what it is. And it has two lives. It's the whole Rocky life. You know what I'm saying? Everything it means to Rocky. It's in the American fabric. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
like an anthem for every sporting event.
Isn't it unbelievable? Think
It's
about it.
still as
Think about
alive
it.
as it ever was. Yes.
2023. It's as amazing as ever to me.
Yeah.
It
But
truly
thank you,
is.
Stacy, and you're right. I'm true to my soul. You got to
Yeah.
be true to two things. One of them is yourself, and the second is your soul. Everything else follows.
Yeah.
If you're not true to yourself, which is everybody must be true. Like it's easy. That's not an easy thing.
No.
Because you're going to get challenged. There's always somebody going to make you question yourself. Sometimes you may not feel good about it, but man, I fight it and just go, no, fuck it.
Right.
This is what I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
I would agree. Now, it's not enough that you get one of the greatest songs in one of the greatest movies.
That's amazing.
Right? That's okay.
Sometimes I look at this thing and I go, I get these awards in the mail. I'm like, is this unbelievable or what? To this day, I'll say, what is this?
It's that powerful of a song. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. But then you get
in
tapped.
the right place too.
But then you get tapped for Burning Heart for Rocky
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Excuse me, this is mentally irregular, as Rocky would say.
Yeah.
Burning
Yeah.
Heart. It's the heat of the peak of the Cold War. It's unbelievable. America versus Russia, superpower.
That's
I mean,
the
all
song.
these great and
Yeah.
Burning Heart. My God, what? Just take
Why?
us
And then
briefly through that.
Yeah. Well, Burning Heart, there's always a story behind the story, and it's the only real story. There's more.
Okay.
This is my philosophy. All these people, this happened, and they're all full of shit. There's always one story behind the story.
Yeah.
We were on a great record label, the Scotty Brothers. It was Tony, and Ben Scotty, and they were also the best independent promoters in the business. Everything they promoted, Olivia Newton-John, they were famous for record promoters. They started a label, so we were on their label. Well, when I was 21, I would walk around their offices going, why do they have all these posters and pictures of Sylvester Stallone and they're signed and hanging and one big ones and he signed it. Well, Tony and Benny and Sly and they're great friends.
Yeah.
So the story behind the story is Tony Scotti. This Rocky, nobody knows this. This is why I have to start doing interviews, because I think I said I did an interview for, was it Canada, like a week ago, and they're like, what? I said, that's the truth. This is what happened. Tony and Sly are that good of friends. So they went out to dinner, probably went to Carmine, or where I go, where you go.
Yeah.
And I think Tony actually said, when are you going to put that movie out? And I think that Sly Stone actually said, I don't like the music. And I think Tony said, they're smart. Tony's smart, and they're both really smart. And Tony's like, this is an opportunity, but he's still my friend. If it ain't any good, then it's going to get thrown in the shitter. Well, maybe we can help each other out. I have that band, and they're really good. He said, I think I can do something. Well, maybe this would be a really good break for him. And Sly goes, yeah, okay, well, yeah, okay, fine. While they're eating spaghetti. That's how that's the inception. And that's the beauty of it all. It's that human. There's a friendship involved. Italians, my mother's born in Palermo, and I know what that commitment's like.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and they're there, and two business guys, but also two really good friends. Well, man, I don't like the music. Well, I got that band, Yeah, okay. Have them send me something. Okay, that's how it started.
Boom.
That's how this whole Sylvester Stallone Survivor thing started, was Tony Scotti. And nobody, I think a year ago I did an interview. It was his 40th anniversary. And I actually heard from him, from France. He goes, well, it's about time, because we were around Frank Stallone, to tell you, we were around some real characters, because he was on the label too. About time somebody started giving us some credit. And I kind of hung up the phone and I thought about it. I said, yeah, it's kind of shitty. Nope, they never really got any. I think I would do it in interviews, but they never got any credit for it. Tony put it together.
Wow.
Now, it was as easy. They were friends, but still, you're out eating spaghetti. The guy's maybe Sly was in the mood. I don't like the music. I could be like that. I don't want to put out like this. And Tony's like a smart guy, but also from, hey, I got that band. You kind of know him. And yeah, okay, have him send something. That's it. That's
Wow.
the simplicity
That's
of
neat.
life. That's the beauty of the moment that people
Yeah.
try to embellish, sensationalize. They make it into these soap operas. It takes away from what really is. Life is
Yeah.
very simple. If you break it down to the most basic elements, and to me, it's always about a relationship. Most times, friendships. Those two guys. I was walking around there, 21 years old. Going, why do they have all these pictures? And I like, everybody likes Sly Stallone. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, because he's really good for someone. I think it was Ben. What do you mean? Him and my brother are best friends one time. So I figured it out. But the beautiful thing about that story is that that's how it happened. They
So
went
so
out
what?
to eat. So there's
Went out
no
to eat.
big this. And I've
But
heard
Sly
so
calls you for
much
4.
bullshit.
He
Well,
calls you for Rocky 4, right? Or did he
Yeah.
call like your manager? And he says, "You gave me
No,
Eye
he
of the Tiger.
Tony.
I need
Yeah,
another
Tony.
one."
By then we had a manager, so Tony and our manager and Tony had a really good relationship, which was kind of rare because Tony was really good with managers. He didn't really like them, but he liked ours because our managers. He still does all my business. He was really good. So Tony just called John and said, "Look, it's Sly wants them to get involved, do something for Rocky IV." So that was a given.
And
That
Burning
was a
Heart.
given.
Where's the name come from in your mind when you guys are all
Yeah.
co-creating?
It
What
was
goes on?
well, the original title was The Unmistakable Fire.
Okay.
Oh, neat.
Oh, that's interesting.
Rising like a burning heart, just about to it. Rising like it used to be the unquenchable. It used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be. Oh, I just told you.
Unquenchable fire.
That was the title. That was the
Oh.
title of the song. And Sly says, "No, title's out." He did not like the title. Okay, that's his input one. Okay, so we're going to change it. So we just said, well, we'll call it In the Burning Heart because that's how the chorus started. Even when the title was the old title.
I gotcha.
And then when we recorded it, we were done. And I get up to his office and he goes, that chorus, it needs something. Yeah, we go in the burning heart, just about to burst. And like a whip. Yeah, whip. Okay, so I had Peter Wolf, Zappa's keyboard player, come down. He had like a big Sinclavier back then, digital keyboard. Just put a whip in there. So I go, in the burning heart, like that's a whip with a bunch of echo on it.
Yeah.
Took it back. He goes, perfect. Worked out good. Yeah, it was easy. It was easy. It was all really easy.
Stacy, what do you think about Burning Heart? Isn't that one of the most amazing songs? I mean,
another one that
Brilliant.
fires you up, like, pardon the pun, but it does,
After Tiger, I think it might have taken a few lumps, maybe, that it didn't deserve because they said, that's another Tiger or follow-up to, but it really wasn't. It was about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And by then I was a little bit older. I knew like, okay, so this more like the film. You could write about your life, but you also have to write about the film.
Sure.
Eye of the Tiger was both, but you could write that song. Either one of you guys. That's life.
That's life. Life experience.
You want to make it in radio, you want to be a guitar player, that's life, man. You got to go out and pay your dues.
So you're telling me and Stacy can write a song basically in the 3 days that you guys did Eye of the Tiger, and then we could be multimillionaires and icons. Frankie, it's staring me in the face.
I'm telling you this. It happens.
No, I'm teasing. I'm just teasing.
No, it's fun, but it's fun. I will tell you this. It happens happily. It can happen that fast.
Yeah.
And it can be that simple. It could be two guys out to dinner eating Italian food. Who are great friends, and it leads to the song. And then the two guys get left out for like till their 40th anniversary. Then I get a phone call. I've heard from him 40 years. He goes, "It's about time." I'm like, I've always been kind of pissed off about, tell those guys to quit telling fairy tales. So I give the Scotties all the credit in the world because without them, there would not be a Tiger or Burning Heart.
Well, we're going to start doing more of that on the Rocky Files. That's for sure. So now you get Eye of the Tiger and Burning Heart. Mm-hmm. Most musicians and bands would like give a kidney to get that in their careers. Okay. And then you go,
including me.
and then you get a third Stallone movie, Lockup.
Yeah.
Tell us about that beautiful ballad you put in there ever since the world began.
So go back to the Rocky III. Remember I said we wrote another song?
Yes,
that was the song.
Beautiful.
That was the second song for the Rocky III film. And that was the song that I felt was a better song. And don't crucify me for telling you the truth. I just said, this
Okay.
first one's great, but this second song is just special. Why? It just means a lot to me. I just really like it. And it's kind of universal. And, I love the lyric and stuff. And
Mhm.
that was the song. And then Sly said, well, can I put a hold on it? And, we were like, Tony, you deal with it. That's
Yeah.
where you talk. I mean, what are we going to say? No. So I said, Tony, you deal with it. So I think we recorded it and put it on a B-side, but then he used it in Lockup. And then he used it thematically. He used the
Yeah.
melody, which I loved. I loved it.
I mean,
loved
what a
it.
great tune, great movie. Just
I loved it. I thought I didn't when I first heard about it, I said, gee, and then when I first saw it, I said, that's a okay, so he was right. What Tiger should have went in Rocky 3. They should be in Lockup. So the man was right.
he,
That's
he
okay.
he knew what he wanted.
Yeah, he
So
knew what he wanted. He
you
knew
could
what he
say
wanted.
you
I
could
loved that
almost
song.
say you could almost say that Sly was high on you.
Yeah, I just like that song. I like the lyrics, even though the season changed, the reason still remains the same. It's love that keeps us holding on till we can see the sun again. I just love the lyric.
Beautiful.
And I'm not an ego guy. I love the ego,
Yeah.
the lyric to ever since the war began. We've been waiting for this moment in time. That's universal. That could be like between me and Stacy,
Yeah,
that could
see?
be. Yeah, you get in trouble for say that nowadays, but so don't get me in trouble. But that could be between a man and a woman. That
Yeah,
could be
sure.
between anything. I thought it was universal.
Anything.
So I love that song. And when he used it, I said, "Good, it'll get some play now," because I loved it.
You
But
know,
that was the second song for Rocky 3. I said, he's going to like this one better. And he said, no, I want Tiger, but could I put a hold on it? And I'm like, how do you put a hold on a song? Well, that's where Tony and came in handy.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
So you remember how back in the 80s we'd make mixtapes? I bet Stacy got about 100 mixtapes from guys, right? Those love song mixtapes, right?
Yeah, I bet. Like The Search Is Over, all that
Yep.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm high on you,
Yeah.
right? So I used to have a mixtape ready to go for the one girl that would say, okay, let's go on a date. Like I hardly knew her, and it would be boom. And I still had the tape in the drawer.
What is
never gave the tape to anybody because
yeah.
I was
but you
too
made
hot.
it. All that matters
But I
is
made it.
you made it. That's
And two
that's what it's
Survivor
for.
songs are on there because
Which
again,
ones? I'm nosy.
so that High on You and I Can't Hold Back. I Can't
Oh,
Hold Back.
love.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Love.
What
Yeah.
an ass-kicking
Yeah.
love song.
Yeah.
I love this. Are you
Yeah.
kidding? My
And I'm
God.
not a big fan of myself, but you're naming my favorites. That's one of my.
Just the way Jimmy sings.
Oh God, he's so, okay. So
You
you
just
know
believe
the
everything in
story.
his
We
words.
we audition singers, and it's
Yeah.
you got to move on. Dave had his thing, and the
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
great. He's saying Tiger, what are you going to say? That's enough.
Yeah.
But he's done more.
But then
So-
you reconnect with Dave, which is beautiful. Just a few
Yeah,
years
yeah.
back. Yeah. Anyways.
You always reconnect when you can.
Mhm.
There are people in life you can't reconnect with.
No,
them.
I
Remember
understand
that
that.
because if
Yeah.
you try hard enough, you're going to get sick. So you got to
Yeah.
let things go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy. So we auditioned him. And when Dave was having those troubles, I was probably his biggest advocate. I would say to the guys, fuck off, leave him
Yeah.
alone.
Mhm.
Then it got to a point to where, by then we had a manager and he said, look, this is an opportunity for you. And I guess I was the leader, which I don't I never wanted to be. It was because when we got the manager he said, I sat in his office for 3 days. You're going to sit there forever. I said, until you manage us. He said, I'll manage you, but I'm not talking to 5 guys. I'll talk to one
Mhm.
because artists are we have a bad reputation because we earned it.
Mhm.
Artists can be asses. These managers, I go to my manager lives in Pebble Beach, my old manager now. He still has all my stuff. He built the house. He has a tournament, 45 guys. It's all Doc McGee, all these old huge Irving, all these managers come, and I'm the only artist that come. And I always say, you guys were right. They'll say things like, it'll be a great business without the artist. The artist can be a pain in the ass too.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I sat in John's office. He didn't want to take any of the acts on. I think he had REO at the time, and they were huge. That was big enough for him. And I just sat there. You just sit there forever. I said, until you manage us. Because with the day Tiger went #1, we were out on the road with REO. I said, John, I chased him. It's #1. I'm thinking he's the manager. He goes, America, what a great country we live in. And he walked away, and I'm thinking, shit, there's humility though, right? You think
Yep,
you're going to
yep.
get the guy.
Yep.
It's like scoring a chick,
Yeah.
Stacy. You think you're going to score, and then it's like he goes, "Isn't it a wonderful country we live in?" And walks away. And I remember standing there going, "It's number one." And we're selling 1 million of records a week. John, and he goes, "I love it," and would walk away. So I said, "Well, flew to LA, I sat in his office, and you gonna sit there forever?" I said, "Till you manage us, because we needed a manager." He is a great guy. Still, he was an amazing manager. I think he just stopped doing Journey a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Maybe 4. And Tony liked him. And Don was a likable guy. He was a very affable to everybody.
Yeah.
He may not have always liked what he said, but he did good business. So he was around. He said, "This is a good." He came to me. Excuse me. He said,
he knew Jimmy was an opportunity.
He said, "This is a good." Well, he didn't know who we were going to get yet, but he said,
Ah.
"Listen, you can't be a stubborn ass like the rest of these damn artists." "What do you mean?" He said, "First off, the Tiger," he goes, "you're going to play every country in the world you can," because I think at the time REO had that big high infidelity record. They only did 90 dates. John's like, "You're going everywhere in the world that's a hit record." 29 countries, it was number one. So we went.
Wow.
He was smart. John was smart.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, "This is an opportunity for you." Why? And he goes, "You can find someone. You can get someone. Maybe he'll be," I'll tell you what he said. He said, "You could use a front man, maybe a great looking guy that MTV loves."
Yep.
So we auditioned Jimmy first. The first guy that comes in the door, and I'm like, okay, so how does it doesn't get any better. Okay, so then a week later, we're still auditioning, guys. I'm like, okay. I called John. He said, "I told you about politics, man. You what do I do?" But you dug it. You lay in that grave. I don't know what to tell you. So I went to rehearsal. I said, "Is that first guy, is he still available?" And I remember everybody kind of looking around weird. I said, "Because I don't want to keep doing this like this. I think I would just quit then." I was mad.
Yeah.
I said, "Get him back. I'm done. You guys are trying out your friends and you're looking for favorites. Fuck it. If he's not," I was mad. I said, "If he's not available, I quit." My brother was our tour manager and lighting director. And then our other tour manager, Rick, they knew me. They kept Jameson in town the whole time we were auditioning other people.
Wow.
I never knew. At a hotel, they were going out with him, hanging with him. They were. I didn't even know. They said, "Yeah, we kept him here." And I was like, "Get him." He came down the next day, and it was. I said, I called up John. I said, "John," I said, I know. He said, "You're welcome," and then hung up the phone.
Man,
Because he
lightning in a
was a
bottle.
man. Yeah, he was a man of 3 words. He said, "That's okay. That's okay." He goes, "Did you learn anything?" I said, "Yeah." He didn't ask me. He said, "Okay, well, you're welcome." And he hung up the phone. And I was about to say thanks. And it was Jimmy. He was magic.
Absolute man. It's like when
But
Jimmy
see, the
sang-
artists, let's try out more.
Yeah.
You're not going to find anyone better. That's like saying, okay, Tiger likes Sligo. No. Well, Tiger's great. See if there's anything else out there. I was like, no. So, yeah, we get Jimmy in the band. And he was an unbelievable, not just a great, he's an unbelievable singer.
Yeah.
He was a mild-mannered, one of the best looking men, Stacy. And the camera, I never saw a photo of him that he didn't look ridiculously good in.
Yeah.
And then, he was like a chick magnet, and I never minded the chick that started showing up at the shows. I'm like, "Hey, that'll work."
That'll work.
And Jimmy would pass. He'd say, "Well, okay, this works." And then more would show up. I'd say, "Hey, that'll work." And John would say, "See,
Because if it's one thing I know about musicians, and I think I'm accurate, you tell me if I'm wrong, Frankie, but there's one thing I know for a fact. After hardcore musicians are out there doing their thing and they're getting the adulation, the love, and the music's vibing with everybody, the one thing these male musicians want more than anything is a good woman to sit and talk with. You want to talk about your problems. You want to
but see, you're kind of, but
pinochle.
You could be mocking me because I was one of those guys.
Where you
Yeah,
weren't.
yes, I was.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I'm impressed.
And most of my friends are women.
Nice.
Probably 90% of them. And most of them are from the days.
And you can
Still.
have very honest conversations.
And I had
Very honest.
relationships with them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. They are great friends. And, I'll get together sometimes, but maybe the only men they'll tell me men are so stupid. And one day I said, you know what? You guys are right.
Men are stupid.
They're right. All they want to do is stick to you. I know, that's enough. They'll say that. But
I think we're
was
thinking
one of
the
those
same
guys.
thing here.
I was one of those guys that liked company, relationships,
Yeah.
conversations. I like to feel things. I can't, the one night thing, it doesn't. That's that song, Is This Love? One of my other favorite songs. Listen to those lyrics sometimes, and then you'll think of me. You know what I'm talking about. Listen to it, because it came on 10 minutes. You question it. Is this love? No.
Yeah.
Do you ever hear that song? Listen
my
to the
God.
lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to that lyric.
All
next
of your
time.
songs. All of them. All of them.
Okay, so Jimmy comes in. It's
Yeah.
MTV. I'll go backwards and can't hold backwards. By the way, this is another. I don't know where these guys come up with these fucking ideas and stories.
Yeah.
We had finished recording the Vital Signs record.
Okay.
Now, there's two stories of that. Ron Neviston, who produced our first record, but quit because the older guys bothered him so much. And it always disturbed me because Ron did like The Who, he did Bad Company, he did Led Zeppelin, he did, he mixed Derek and the Dominoes. Like his resume, he built the Rolling Stones mobile studio, could make you die. And I'm like,
okay,
why did they fire him? So when it came to Vital Signs, I had a little bit more. I had more balls to say, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I said to Barrick, we need a producer. I don't want to produce the band anymore. Why? I said another thing in an interview. Mutt Lang goes, that's the best thing I ever read. I said, never produce your own band. Never.
Really?
Oh, wow. God. I don't care. You could do a great job. 6 months later down the road, somebody's pissed off at you because you're getting in. You just don't do it. So I wanted a producer, and John agreed, and I said, it's Ron. And John Barrick said, that's a good idea. I said, get Ron back. And we got Ron. It was his first time he really worked in about 4 years.
Wow.
And we got him for way less than he usually gets. And he agreed to make that record. We cut that whole record. We were done. Studio D at the record plant in Los Angeles. We were done packing the drums up. We're going to go up to do all the overdubs and sausalito. I start playing guitar, and I'm going, dude, I start playing that. Why is that tuned to the wrong key? They always tune to the wrong key.
Always.
Bruce Springsteen. I heard it in my interview, so I had to try the tuning, and I love it, by the way. So I picked up a guitar, and I was going, and Jim's always saying around me with tape recorders. What is that? I said, I don't know. Let's keep going. And then Ron will hear it and say, shh, shut up. He had a way of getting everybody to shut up without shutting them up. They would just be quiet. And what else? I said, Jim, what if we go to like the C sharp minor, but we keep it open? Listen, yeah. And then he gets on the piano. I said, come on, we'll finish. So we got the music done. And then Ron said, tomorrow morning, you guys have to come in and finish writing a song. We're going to cut it tomorrow and get the hell out of here because we're starting to get over budget.
Right.
We came in the next morning by the way, I had one of my friends with me, Stacy. We came sitting there as we wrote the lyric to the song. It didn't hurt. We came in the next morning at 11 and wrote the lyric and finished Can't Hold Back, cut it, and by about 2:30 or 3, we were done. Think about this. Think about Vital Signs without Can't Hold Back on it. Cut one, side one, the first release. It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But that's the magic that happens. You can't take, oh, I'm a genius. You can't take credit for that stuff. That's like the current, it's magic. I don't know how or why, but it was cut one, side one, and the video went nuts once the chicks at MTV saw James. I went to Epic Records when it was finished.
Mm-hmm.
We had just cut the video, and I was, every desk I went by where there was a chick, a girl, excuse me, I'm old, I say, they'll go, hey, Frankie, oh, God, we love your new singer. Okay, and I'm going back to see Larry Stessel. He was like head of something, VP. And that desk, hey, what? Oh, I love your new singer. I got to meet him. But I get back to his office. I go, I just got stopped like 20 times. I said, let me use your phone. I call Blair's. It's John. I think we're going to have a hit record. I remember saying that in a funny way. He goes, I said, these girls, they're going nuts. He said, I know. He was telling me I didn't really get it till I walked through the office. So let's take that song off and the video off the record. Vital Sign's a whole different record.
That's amazing.
And who could have planned it? We were done. We said, we're done. Packed the drums, we're leaving. It was not even written yet. Start with that acoustic guitar thing.
Yeah.
Jim's always recording. He's probably recording even under the bench. I'm going, he goes, yeah, we did it fast. But then I thought about it one day. I said, it was cut one side one and it got played crazy on the radio. I think the video was like number one for a month. It was insane, but it almost wasn't even written.
Insane.
So how do you this is my pet peeve. How do you even take credit for that? That's something that's magic.
Yeah.
You're talented. You're talented. Yeah. You're a good writer. You're really good at what you do. But I bet you even I'll tell you, every once in a while, there's a moment. Mm-hmm. When you have that moment, you got to grab it. And you got to run with it. And you have to make sure you got a guy like Ron around to tell everybody else to get the fuck out of the room so you and Jim could finish it. But it was a moment. Mm-hmm. How many guys, oh, yeah, we're geniuses. No, we're not geniuses. We wrote great songs, but it was in that moment. We were done. Oh, fuck it. And then I look back, I go, what would we be without Can't Hold Back? I heard it the other day. It's great.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I will agree with you. I will agree. Everything you said.
Okay.
I will never disagree.
There's a but. I see a but coming.
But
that's a blow off from us. Yeah. Go.
But here's the big difference though. You have lots of magic moments, and magic moments don't happen for most people. You guys got a bunch of them. But that tells me your foundation was beautiful.
That's okay, that's nice. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And I respect it and I embrace it.
I love hearing
I loved it. I respect it and I embraced it to this day. It's special.
You had something so many other bands of that era didn't have. Today's era, they don't have. It's such a transformative songs. So many of your songs are like that. Trust me. I remember watching you guys on MTV. When you would see yourself on MTV, that's got to mess with your mind, man. It's just huge.
It can, but I think with me, maybe a little, if you're in a working mode and you're out working and you understand nothing lasts forever and you're going to get older and okay, we're out with Brian Adams. We're selling out. We're doing the Garden for 5 nights. It's not going to last forever. So I was working, I was jogging 7 miles a day, Saturday 10, Sunday off. I was running the venues. I was working. So I was more I got into a routine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was a little bit different. I was a little bit more health conscious and I had friends and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, when you look back over everything and you sit down and you say, we did that. Or no, we were part of this.
It's the songs, man. I always tell you, it's the songs. I'm telling you, Jim and I wrote some unbelievable, they're moments. Several of them are magic moments.
Yeah. Yes.
Some you've never heard. And, I always agreed with the producer that shouldn't be on the record. I'd say, I know. Okay, well, tell Jim not to fucking bother me about it. That would be the next line because, I said, Jim, by the time we're done, we'll have a quadruple record. We can only fit so many songs. But we wrote we wrote every day of the week, 5 days a week.
Persistent.
Yes. Sometimes on Saturday, I may go sneak in the studio to do a mix or something. But by 2:00, Monday through Friday, we were writing.
Yeah.
Songs. We were writing songs. Now, were they all great? No. But if you get one great one out of a month of it, it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Right.
So if you get 12 great ones out of a year, that's a good record.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it. But you have to understand, we were we wrote. We were writers. It was every day of the week. By 1 or 2 o'clock, we were writing till 6 or till after traffic, 7 o'clock.
So
Wow.
it's fascinating because different musicians and singers and so on, they hear things differently. Do you, when you're writing a song, do you hear the melody, the music, or do you hear the lyrics? Do the lyrics come first, or is it at the same time?
Usually, well, with me, it's usually the melody because then
Oh,
I find
wow.
that the lyric is a little bit easier to kind of, yeah, the melody kind of sparks lyrics in me.
Hmm.
Like High on You,
Okay.
you know, High on You, the music made it easy to write. Not easy, but the lyric comes. I'm better if I start with melodies.
I love
And then
that.
I can kind of put the lyric to the melody because I hear a lot of different melodies a lot of times.
Do
Maybe
you
it has to
say,
do with being a guitar player
yeah,
and playing. I play kind of melodic and I play a lot of 12 strings and maybe it's some have to do with that, but melody to me is sparks it all.
Yeah.
when you sit to write a song, we're not going to keep you a whole lot longer.
I don't give a crap.
I got. Well, no, no, I know.
I don't care, but I'm serious. I haven't done a podcast in 4 years, and before that, I don't know if I ever did one.
Well, I
Mm.
think
It's
this is
time
good.
I start. Everybody,
I
you know how
agree.
many, how much I get slammed on these social platforms. You got to do more. You got to do.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm like the mysterious guy.
I think I think you could usher in a whole new age with music. I honestly, I
I
think
don't know
it.
how to do it. And that honest
No,
to say, well, how do I do it? I am not going to go on YouTube and have my YouTube channel say, look at how great I am. I just don't
no,
subscribe to that.
no.
And
That's not it.
I have
Yeah.
nothing against people that do, but most of them do.
No,
Okay,
I
there's
think
only one Johnny Bon Jovi. He doesn't do
right,
that. You know, Uncle Gene Simmons. He doesn't need to do that. If I ask him
right.
what he's doing, he'll say, "I'm working on my third billion." You know, that's fun.
Yeah, but Gene
But I
does
can't.
toot his own horn
I love
all
him.
the
Oh,
time.
yeah, but he does it with humor.
He
Mm.
does.
He
I
does
mean,
it with. I love him. He
we
does.
hear him on Stern all the time whenever he was on.
I
He's
was eating this.
great.
I was out to lunch and I'm eating a salad. He goes, "You got to finish that salad." I said, "No, I'm done with it." He took it and started eating. He goes, "This is delicious."
No, he didn't. Did
Yes, he
he?
did.
Oh,
Yes, he did.
oh,
It's all shtick. He's a great guy. And he's really
yeah.
smart,
I'm
and
sure he
it's
is.
all humor. It's shtick.
Yeah,
But he'll tell you how. He'll say a Jew bass player from New York and Kiss.
I know.
2.3 billion. No, think about that though.
A Kiss coffin.
And he
It's one
likes
of
to
the.
tell people, and they sell like crazy. And they'll say,
Yes,
"Well, if
that's
his coffin," he
amazing.
goes, "Hey, Sullivan, I'm sold a lot of them." Yeah, it's funny,
All right, I have two last questions. I'm going to say I have one question I'm going to ask you now, and then I'm going to turn things over to Stacy. She's got a few things from listeners for herself.
That's cool.
So my last question on when you're writing a song, when you go,
I
you're
can't
in
see anyhow. Screw those. I'm
when
blind.
when you're in a studio,
Yeah.
do you say to yourself, okay, guys, the song we're gonna we're gonna write about right now is going to be about a guy who loses his job and he's got this car. Or we're talking about a
Mm.
girl whose husband left her at the altar and she's trying to find love again. So do you have a basic bare bones concept and then you go? Or do you just whatever comes to you comes to you?
Mhm.
When we would go in the studio, we were already prepared. We had most of our songs done. But besides that, my stuff always comes from girls, relationships. Listen to the lyrics. Even "High on You," which I, I sold my catalog on Peter Paterno. I love my attorney. He's another Italian guy. He goes, I said, "Tiger, we got to have a whole." "Okay, we'll get it together." I said, that's I got to control it because I don't want Sly to turn on TV. And no offense, I love her acting and see Kathy Bates in Misery eating Cheetos with Tiger playing. I was throwing a shit but getting melted down. He goes, "Besides that, it's not even the best one." I went, "High on You" is. I said, "What do you mean?" Even my wife says it. She plays it all the time. I was dying. So see, there's a beauty in that song. As simple as it is. Simple as it is.
Jesus.
Yeah. So we're when we get in the studio, we're done. The songs are. In fact, Jim can over tweak. I learned to stop over tweaking. That's why I liked Ron. That's enough.
Peter
That's
Rick or
enough.
Jameson?
No, Peter. He would over tweak lyrics, and then Ron would say, "To fucking close that book up," So that. Well, and I would do some of the same. So that could be one of the downsides of going in the studio with all your songs. We were done. We do pre-production for 2 weeks, and when we go in the studio, we knew what we were doing. But there was always a song like "Can't Hold Back," and they're out there.
That's amazing. Stacy, I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah.
I want you to, shut up, Mike. You go right
Well,
ahead. Stacy.
here we weren't like the guys I love in Cheap Trick. They just go in there and set up and play like the greatest band. They're so freaking good. I just love them. They just set up. They don't even care. They're just,
God,
it's attitude.
are
Rick's like, who cares?
just go for it.
They're a great band.
Jesus. Stace.
No
Well,
problem.
Frankie, thank you. This is
You're
honestly
welcome.
everything you're saying is like gold.
That's awful
I
nice
think
of
our
you to say.
philosophy is so similar, and I love the way Sly has sort of gathered not
He's
just talent
amazing.
around him, but a
No.
certain type of philosophy,
Yes.
of a person,
Yes.
and you capture this depth and honesty and a self-awareness that is rare to me. You know what I mean?
That's
So
nice to say.
I love
Isn't
the
that a nice
honesty.
thing for Stacy? I think that's, well, thanks, Stacy. That's beautiful to say. I like to hear that.
But the
I do.
magic, thank you. But your magic moments, they don't just come to those who aren't working hard and aren't prepared for those moments.
No, they don't. They
You
don't.
know-
I agree. But sometimes they do, and maybe they don't know. Or maybe when
Yeah.
they do, they don't know what to do with them. Or
Right.
they can't finish them. Like maybe they can
Right.
write a great song, but they can't get that hook right.
Right. Well,
Depends.
and I also love how you're not over affected by the whole industry, by,
I won't be that.
glory, fame. You're very just human, and that's just so refreshing. And
I'm looking at Stacy. Am I supposed to be looking at this green light I'm pointing at because I'm looking at her? We're like, you know what? They have to invent something. So when someone's talking, when you look at them. So if
oh,
I'm
I
looking,
gotcha.
so do I have to look here for
You can look anywhere
Stacy?
you want.
Anywhere
but
you want.
Okay, well, keep going, Stacy, because I was looking at you instead of the camera. But I
That's
wanted you
okay.
to know, well, because if you can see someone's eyes, you can see the sincere. They
Right.
can't hide. The
Right.
eyes don't lie.
That's true.
Okay, these guys with shades on all the time, beware.
That's a good point. We're very similar in the life philosophy. There's just no doubt about that. Who you keep, who you let go, what you hang on to, what you don't. But my daughter, she's at Belmont and she's in the music program, and I told her that we were interviewing you, and she was like,
Okay.
what? She was so excited.
I don't do interviews. I just should do more.
And I just
You'll
want
have to
them.
help me. You up on the top of the screen because I have how do you even get started in that stuff? Go ahead, Stace.
That's okay. And these students, they're music majors of some sort. My daughter's video production, and she's minoring in music business. And
Okay.
what you've said today, just the ins and outs, you know what I mean? And the little details and the way things come together, and harnessing the moments, just recognizing this is a magic moment and you better grab it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
For all these students to hear everything you said today, I just want you to know that there's going to be a group of Belmont University students that are going to listen to this episode, because your advice is gold, truly.
Well, that's nice to say.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that. It's
yeah.
a philosophy, though. You're right, Stacy.
Yeah.
It is. You can't. I just refuse to be affected and sensationalized by. Like
But I
the
love
man,
that.
like
Yeah.
the man, you are the top. I don't want to be, I don't want
Yeah.
to be affected.
I get it.
Because I'm afraid I wouldn't even play guitar as good.
Mhm.
I just don't want to. I don't like it.
But I think Stacy's big point, and I think it's something I've even been able to kind of relate to a little bit myself. When you do a certain thing in life that affects people in a positive way, people that are like us, like-minded the way that we are,
Like thinking.
yeah,
Mhm.
you taking a very big compliment or a gravitas in the compliment, that can be difficult at times to really say, well, I mean, all we were was a bunch of guys and we wrote some lyrics and we sang, and yeah, that's true, but you sang songs that inspired people to go on to survive, like Survivor.
That's
Stacey,
nice.
I
agree.
wanted to get that out there. All right, Stacey, go
But
ahead.
I realize that as well. See, I'm a
good.
good juggler. I can.
Mhm.
Yes, you are. You've been
50-50
around
guy.
and you
I
get
can juggle both, and I think I know what's best is somewhere maybe 60-40. I'm not quite
There you
sure
go.
yet.
There
It's
you
a
go.
day-to-day thing.
Staying grounded, that's to me that's probably kept you
It's
going.
difficult.
You know, just staying grounded and not getting overly affected, and also being uncompromising. Always listen to your gut. I say that to my daughter, her boyfriend, my stepson all the time. If you ignore your gut, you are going to be regretting your entire life, your entire
Forever.
existence. Yeah.
And it's not easy. A lot of people just go forget it. They don't want to, because
They get talked out of it.
you're
Yes.
going with your gut. Well, sometimes yourself, because if the gut, we have two minds. This one's no good. It's good for lyrics. And the gut's the good one for music. But when we don't listen to the gut, we're lost.
Yeah.
To me, if I go against my gut, I just get I actually can get stomach aches from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, ditto. I completely understand that. We did have one question from somebody texted me real quick. Oh, can you just ask him this real
You
quick
can
question?
ask me, yeah, anything.
2 songs, Fire Makes Steel and Reach, ended up, not getting used in Balboa in '06. They were just curious the story around that.
I don't know if I don't think we really submitted them to get used.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't, at that point in time, I know people would ask me at times, why don't you get a hold of blah, 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 like somebody I know was starring in a film or what. And I would always say, nah, because that would be the manager's job. And I never really wanted to reach out to like Sly Stone directly, or like his brother Frank. Him and I made a pact when I won this People's Choice Award in '83. I met him at that show, and we went out that night. And everywhere we went, hey man, hey, yeah, cool. How's Sly? How's Sly? I said 5 in the morning. Dropped the hotel. I said, here, that's '83. Do the math. How many years later? I said, here's the deal. You and I are never going to talk about your brother unless you bring it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Now he brings it up once in a while. He does more and more now, but through that, I have been able to be friends with him.
Mhm.
I agree. That was something I didn't. I never did that when I was when I had
People
Frank's.
do it all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
He's one of the things he told me, and I was always very aware. Could you imagine having to live in that?
No.
That's
I was out
impossible.
that night and I was like, fuck this, man. So,
It's
Stacy,
tough.
they would tell me, well, you can just go to Frank. And I'd say, he's the last person I'm going to.
Frank is his own man with his own successes. And
I
Yeah.
just said to him a week ago, you and I are friends first and foremost.
Right.
I don't talk to anybody in this business about anything that we do, you do, your ideas, your plans, unless you and I discuss it. And look at how long this relationship's gone on. I've been asked by the band guys just to drive me nuts. You could go to Frank. You could go to Frank. I said, you could go to hell because it would be the end of the relationship.
Well, that whole opportunist thing is so classless.
It's classless, but it's rampant. It's rampant.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Stacy, anything before I ask my last question and
Stacy, just have to tell your students that they just have to be true to themselves. And it sounds like a cliche, but you have to work on it sometimes every minute to minute. It depends. I take it in 10 minutes. If I have a bad day, I have to take it 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
They have to be true to themselves, and it's going to be a calling sometimes, but it's when you hear it and you respond naturally the way you feel, it's a great calling because you come out of it. You've learned so much.
Right. Just thank you. I mean, just
You're welcome.
to listen to your journey and I just love you have this humbleness about you.
I've been around some really successful people, Stacy, and I have to tell you, they're very humble people. They have their ups and downs, and I know they've had their wild errors, but they'll now tell me, I'm glad I'm over that decade. They're humble, they're huge, but they're great people too.
Yeah.
They really are. So I'm kind of blessed in that way too, to have the friends I have.
Yeah.
Like Brian Adams, I as good as he is, I never hear him brag.
Really?
And he's so freaking good.
You don't have to. When you're that good, you shouldn't have to.
He just was like that all the time.
Yeah.
And on a roll with him, I remember they're shooting. I said, what is Rolling Stone doing in your dressing room? He said, well, they're shooting my combat boots. And because I wear a Hanes t-shirt and Levi jeans. And he says, how stupid is that? We both laughed for a minute, but he still plays. I always liked him because he wanted to do what he did. And that's it.
Are you
He
kidding?
did.
Everything I do for you. Summer
He's great.
'69. Are you?
He's
Come
so,
on.
you know, I played that the other day, and
The summer of
Teresa goes to me,
'69.
my
Come
gal
on.
goes to me. I was listening to I'm a huge Chris Christopherson fan.
Oh wow.
Now there's Stacy, your students, because this is something I got into
Yeah.
a little bit late in life.
Okay.
This guy's a writer. So I was listening to Sunday Morning Coming Down. You ever listen to that song?
Not in a long time.
Okay, he's me and Bobby McGee, his versions. You know, this
Mhm.
guy's a songwriter, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I just said to myself, and then I was streaming, so Summer '69 came on, and then I got my feels shit. We were on the road. We were swapping #1 records. Heaven is over. We had a blast. We were on the road 18 months. And he, at the 5 and dime, I said, that sounds a little dated. So he goes, I love this song. And she likes the Replacements, and you know, she'll listen to Christopherson and stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's the last thing you would think she would like. And then she said, it's almost as good as Is This Love? So I put Is This Love, and I said, that's a good song.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, Frankie, every guest that we have on our show, I like to ask them one last question before they leave.
Okay.
And it's kind of a thing here. And the question is,
A thing. We all have our
it's a
things.
thing. And people love hearing the answer to this because it ranges from something simple to a little complicated to somewhere in the middle. If you had 30 seconds in an elevator with Sylvester Stallone today, after everything you've been through and learned,
Mm.
what would you say to him? You walk in and he's there.
I'd give him a punch. I'd bump elbows. I'd say, how you doing? And I'd say, keep punching. And
Nice.
always, and sometimes I always would say, and thanks. I always throw that in. That's
Nice.
30 seconds. I'd give him the 5. Because I gave him an elbow. One time I said to him, just touch my elbow, because everything you touch turns to gold.
Aw.
I give him the punch, and I give him the
Yeah.
elbow, and I would say, how you doing? And thank you. I would.
That's great.
Mhm.
Because, you know, Sly will talk about, don't forget where you went. I love on Instagram, don't forget from where we all once
Yep.
came from. And a
Oh my
lot
God,
of people forget.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's it.
God.
He is not just someone I've done work for. He's one of my idols. He's one of my favorite people.
Ours too. And I've kind of begged him to do either a master class of sorts of
Yes.
just a compiling of
So
life
good.
lessons
Oh, God.
or all of it. He could give a college class. I swear to God,
He's
I
an
hope he does this.
encyclopedia
Oh,
of
he's so
advice,
smart.
of less. He's so smart.
And
I don't think that's another thing. People, they think they know.
Right.
He's brilliant.
Brilliant. Because
Quick. He's quick.
oh, he's so witty and he's
witty.
self-deprecating too.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
always teasing on himself and goofing on himself. And
Yeah.
it's hysterical. And that's the thing, because of Rocky and Rambo, you don't think Rocky and
No,
Rambo
you
would
never.
be like,
No, I
they-
agree.
you know, that's the thing.
I agree.
Frankie, I absolutely love you, brother. I am so
Thank you, man. I
thrilled.
appreciate that. Hopefully, we can stay in touch. And you
I
talk
would
to
love that.
Frank all the time. So last night he called me at 9:30. You know what time we hung up? 1:30 in the morning.
Oh,
He's
nice.
a talker.
No, we played not guitars, and we talk all the time. We play
Wow.
He
guitars.
loves his
He
guitars.
turns me
man.
on to a bunch of healthy things now. You got to take this methylene blue, and you got to call this doctor. He's been a terrific friend of mine for years.
Frankie, you have been a great friend to us today, and
Well, I hope I
forward-
can stay that way.
Absolutely.
Us too. Are you kidding? This far exceeded my
And then you
expectations.
can teach me. No, you have to start doing more of these. Just send me an email. This is how you do it, because I don't do. I swear.
Stacy is the guru. Stacy is the guru.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you here instead of the camera, Stacy. I'm literally a ton. Most of my email. Why don't you do interviews? Why don't you do podcasts? How come you don't talk? A ton of them. Why don't you? Authors like this one guy, I looked him up. He wrote like 4 novels that were #1 in England. Let's write a book. And I said, nah. I think I said nah for so long. I don't know how to go about it, but I would be willing to, because there's a lot of good gut stuff, truth.
Yeah.
life's lessons,
Yep.
Mhm.
and this whole eye of the tiger thing. Besides the I don't like I stuff because
Mhm.
first off, it's bullshit. It doesn't exist. And the
Mhm.
guys that are I like Bruce Springsteen or Brian Adams,
Yeah.
they don't talk I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a
Right.
lot there that people just have such a misunderstanding. You know, Sarisa, she does a lot of stuff for me. She used to work for a manager. She says it's to the point to where it's almost a shame.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
shameful. I said, well, I know, but I don't want to do it. You should start doing something. I said, well, tell the truth. That usually works.
Yeah.
This is the new goal for 2023.
Yeah. Well, we
This-
all have to have them.
always.
Always.
Frankie, we're gonna go. We're gonna
Thank
do a
you,
quick
guys.
wrap up.
Thank you.
We want to thank you again. We're gonna talk more in the future, my friend.
Mike,
Keep punching.
keep punching, stay healthy, Stace. I like the glasses. Let me look. She kind of looks like this. You know, I saw Michelle Pfeiffer once eating a hamburger in Hamburger Hamlet, and I went over and I said, excuse me, just want to tell you, you're one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen.
Aw.
She said, as I'm taking a bite of hamburger, you tell me that you look a lot like Michelle Pfeiffer. If anybody ever told you that before
No.
in her day. Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
Mike, don't you think so?
I agree. I try to
See?
tell her that, and she throws banana peels at me.
I'm telling you. And she goes, if you tell me that when I got a mouthful, I don't care what you have a mouthful. I just wanted to tell you that I walked away.
Aw.
So you remind me of her. So I just
Well,
wanted to tell
thank
you.
you.
You're
That
welcome.
is a big
And Mike,
compliment.
yeah, so stay healthy. Keep that way. And
Yeah.
don't lose the glasses. Mike, just stay in touch. I'm here.
I will absolutely.
Okay,
my friend.
brothers.
Frankie, thank you.
Sister, take
Okay.
care of yourself,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye, buddy.
God bless
Thank
you,
you.
guys. Now,
God
what do I
bless.
do? Click off, hang up, or what do you do? You'll just hang up on me?
We'll
like-
hang up. And you'll be
Yeah.
good.
That never happened to me much. But so you'll just click and I'll be done.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, you guys, peace and love. You know, you gotta
Peace,
keep
brother.
it right here. Okay.
Oh,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Keep punching. What a great guy, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Michelle
So-
Pfeiffer.
Wow.
Man. Boy, I think someone ought to let Kevin know.
I'm gonna send him to Vision Works.
Seriously.
Oh, come on. That is very sweet.
No, seriously,
That was very
that was awesome. That really far exceeded my expectations because he really is a wealth of knowledge,
sweet.
and he's got so much up there in his brain. He's
Mhm.
got so much. It really is impressive. My
Yeah.
goodness,
Yeah.
it's impressive.
It's all impressive. I would never take away the success is unmatched. I mean, all the songs,
Yeah.
everything he's accomplished, everything Survivor has accomplished is like, wow, wow, wow. But as a person, I like him as a person. Even when you peel all that away, we don't have that. Like he said at the end, I. You know what? We're here to take care of each other. You know what I'm saying? And he
Yep.
gets that. I
He does.
just and just his relationship with Frank, and I'm friends with you for you, not because you
Mhm.
can get me here.
Right.
I just that is that philosophy. I don't have the right word, but that mentality as you interact with humans makes it makes you more attractive.
Yeah.
It's like a magneticism, if that's
Yeah,
even
yeah.
a word. But that's what I liked him as a person. And then the success on it is like, wow. But he's a good person.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah,
So.
I loved hearing him talk, and it. I could go longer with him. I really could. I could
Yeah.
just sit and listen to him. Have a coffee and just talk life. But maybe we'll get him back again.
Yeah.
He
Oh my
seems
goodness.
he seems very friendly and up for it. So if this episode goes well, which I know it will, we'll have him
will.
back and just talk more.
Yeah.
Stacy,
Great guess.
what and where and who and how can people find you?
I am at The Rocky Files on Instagram, as well as Had Me at Yo. And then on Facebook, we are at The Rocky Files Podcast. And Michael, what
We are.
about you?
I wrote a little book called Cue the Rocky Music. Not a lot of big words in it, and it helps kill spiders. You can check it out anywhere books are sold. Boom. A lot of spiders over there.
One or two.
You can check out on streaming media, Peacock Television and Amazon Prime, a little documentary about my life called The Pretender by the great Jim Toscano out of Detroit. And you can find me at the Yo Philly Film Tour on Yes, some changes may or may not be afoot, but definitely are afoot. What's been going on? Well, I'm going to keep that quiet for now, but
Mhm.
big changes are quite
Shall see.
possible. Yeah,
Yes.
mostly should be good. Mostly should be good. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, Stacey, another great episode.
Another great episode.
And keep punching.
Keep punching.
Keep punching. Goodbye.